Oh, well, please help me welcome Jim.
Woohoo!
Evaluate Joel.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate having this opportunity to evaluate Joel's speech, because Joel's speech really brought out a lot in me, and there was so much I wanted to tell him that it just wasn't going to be possible to scribble it on a scrap of paper. So now I can share it with him. So what Joel gave us today is what I would classically call a boring speech. Okay? The content of his speech was something that we probably were fairly familiar with, and he was going to go over some prepared slides. And so I'm already snoozing at this point in time. You don't even have to say a first word. I'm already settling in for a nap. But it doesn't have to be that way. All right? It is really in the hands of the person giving the presentation. And God's honest truth, Joel did a nice job. He did an adequate job of presenting the material. I felt that he went over the material, he covered it, and he communicated to us what he wanted to communicate. Bam! Cool. So what could he have done better? Well, one of the problems with the presentation that you gave us today is when you were done, I wasn't motivated. Okay, you had communicated good information to me. Right. You had explained the different positions. You had explained what the different positions did. Great. That's fantastic. You achieved your goal. However, I think there is another goal for that particular presentation. We have elections coming up, okay? And I think really the goal is to get people to say, ooh, I want to do that. I see value in me taking that position. Now that you've explained to me what it is and what I can get out of it, man, when opportunity comes, I'm going to sign up for that. God's honest truth from your presentation today, I don't think that happened. Okay, so let's think about this for a moment, because I'm throwing stones here. So we should at least talk about, well, if Joel was going to give this presentation again, and if he was going to get us motivated, what would he have to do differently to make that happen? Interesting point. One of the important parts of your speech, although we've just touched on it so casually, is what's called the DCP, right? Which you didn't really explain to us what it is, but I believe it is the Distinguished Club Program. Yes. Okay? Which is actually, and it took me a couple years to really get into the DCP, but the DCP is actually a pretty cool concept. So Toastmasters, the mothership, says to each one of the clubs, hey, how you doing? Okay? Are you growing? They say in businesses, a business is either growing or it's shrinking. It's not, just holding still. And ultimately, that's what Toastmasters, the organization, is telling to us. The DCP is sort of our health meter, so to speak. And as we pointed out in some other things, either you're doing well as a club and you're growing and you're achieving and people are moving forward, or else you're backsliding and you're not really making achievement. So how we do every year in DCP is actually really critical to what's going on here. And arguably the people who are elected to run the club have a responsibility to the DCP. So maybe linking everybody from Sergeant at Arms to Vice President membership, everybody plays a role in the DCP, and maybe tying it all to that. Getting people to care about the DCP in the first place, challenge in a speech, okay, and then showing that each one of those roles ties into being successful in the DCP, all of a sudden links them all together. Now the other thing is each one of those roles has an opportunity to give us a chance to grow and develop our own personal skills. Yes, yes, yes. If you're the treasurer, you're helping out the club. That's fantastic and wonderful. But if you're the treasurer, you're also developing some skills for you that might apply to your job, might apply to other things that you do in the real world, might apply to your home checking account. Could be a whole bunch of interesting things going on there. But there's a real benefit to you, very selfish, to actually taking on these roles. And I think if you tap as you go through those roles and talk about, hey, if I'm president of the club, how's it going to benefit me? Yes, it will benefit the club, very good, but how's it going to benefit me? What am I going to get out of it? Very selfish, but if you can convince me on that, then when it comes time to do our vote, I'll be putting my hand up saying I'd like to do that role. Madam.
Thank you very much. Our next evaluation is going to be done